Most men go through life believing they must win women over with wealth, looks, or charm. But the real engine of attraction is psychological. It lives in the hidden parts of the female mind, the places even women themselves don't consciously access. Women, like men, have subconscious cravings, sensitivities, and reflexes they can't fully explain, and most men never learn how to read them or work with them. We're going to break down some of those feminine fault lines, the invisible psychological triggers that, once understood, permanently change the way you relate to women. 1. Emotional stability is the first trigger. Women aren't emotional because they are weak. Emotion is simply their operating system. They don't listen to the words, they absorb the nervous system behind the words. And this is the exact point where men collapse. They argue with logic while radiating need, insecurity, and fear. A woman's attraction starts when her nervous system feels safe in your presence. Not because of your face, your wallet, or your charm, but because your inner state is steady. Her biology is scanning one thing above all. Can this man remain composed when emotions surge? Can he stay rooted when life shakes? Attraction is tied to emotional authority, not theatrics. When a woman meets a man, her mirror neurons sync with his state. If you're anxious, her body feels anxiety. If you're calm, her body settles. This is neural resonance. Her body registers your emotional control as safety, and safety is the bedrock of desire. That is why emotional instability destroys attraction. It sets off a survival alarm, not a romantic switch. But watch the opposite. A man who stays still in chaos becomes a psychological refuge. When she storms, he doesn't panic or retaliate, he absorbs and structures. Feminine chaos instinctively seeks masculine containment. Not suppression, containment. Holding emotion without spilling it. Jung called this integration of the anima, mastering emotion rather than being mastered by it. The Stoics called it ataraxia, an unshakable mind. Aurelius called it the inner citadel. To a woman it feels like entering a silent temple. She keeps returning not out of lust, but because her nervous system rests in your presence. And then comes the paradox. Women test your calm to feel your calm. Her volatility is not hatred, it is a probe. If you match her chaos, she pulls you into her world. If you remain composed, you pull her into yours. You become the mountain, she becomes the wind that cannot move it. Emotional stability is not passiveness. It is quiet dominance. The man who cannot be rattled becomes the man every cell in her body remembers, because in a world of noise, a man who is silent inside himself takes on a godlike quality. 2. The attraction to what isn't fully possessed. Desire dies in certainty. The human brain devalues what is easily obtained. Mystery is oxygen for attraction. Women are governed by the same scarcity principle as every human brain. The rarer it feels, the more the mind pursues. She doesn't crave what she owns. She craves what she is close to getting but hasn't fully secured. Her psyche evolved around decoding emotion, not receiving clarity. When a man reveals his entire inner world instantly, she stops thinking about him because there is nothing left to uncover. Desire lives in delay, in wonder, in the unanswered. Neuroscience proves this through the dopamine loop. Anticipation creates obsession, not possession. This is why many women fall strongest not for the man who loves most openly, but for the man whose depth they cannot fully map. In his silence, she paints a fantasy. Closure kills imagination, and imagination is the bloodstream of attraction. Great men throughout history didn't orbit women. Women orbited them. Not because they were cold, but because their lives were already in motion. Women join worlds. They don't want to be the world. To embody that, you practice selective revelation. You reveal yourself like a novel, page by page, not in a single dump. Once she feels she has fully conquered you, desire goes numb. Keep something unreachable, not as a game, but as a truth. If your life would remain rich without her, her nervous system clings harder. When she realizes you could live without her, that is when she realizes she cannot live without you. 3. Depth of voice and presence. A deep, slow, steady voice, and a grounded presence, are ancient attraction triggers rooted in survival instinct. A deep voice signals strength and leadership. Presence is communicated before a word is spoken. How you stand, how you walk, how you breathe, what your energy says when your mouth is shut. A steady man makes every word heavier when he finally speaks. 4. A man who can walk away at any time. If you truly want to affect a woman, do not chase her, make peace with losing her. A woman is not most shaken by anger or silence. She is shaken by the possibility of your absence. Humans are wired to fear loss more than they value gain. The moment she senses your presence is guaranteed, she stops responding to it. Predictability is the death of emotional charge. Women don't test you to destroy you, they test you to locate your center. When she pulls away, she is not asking, "Will you chase me?" She is asking, "Will you remain yourself even if I vanish?" If you crumble, she knows your strength was borrowed. If you stay intact, admiration ignites. The man who can leave is not cruel, he is sovereign. His worth does not depend on her reaction. This is not detachment from love, it is detachment from dependency. Women don't fall for the man who gives everything, they fall for the man who could leave everything but doesn't. When you stop trying to be chosen, you become the one chosen. You stop leaking validation and begin radiating presence. The less you need her, the more she feels pulled into your gravity. The law is ancient. Be ready to walk away from anything that requires you to abandon yourself. The man who can leave has leverage. The man who can stay without attachment rules himself. Let her feel your absence the way she feels your presence, not through punishment, but through a peace she cannot shake. Men who don't chase don't lose women, they recalibrate what a man is supposed to be. A man with a mission is the rarest drug to the female psyche. Her deepest weakness is not beauty, wealth, or charm, it is direction. Purpose cannot be faked or borrowed. It is the unseen force that reorganizes reality around you. 5. A man with a mission doesn't orbit, he advances, and the world adjusts. Women are instinctively drawn to purpose because it signals safety, predictability, and inner order. The man without purpose drifts, reacting, clinging, and drowning in emotion. She feels that instantly. When a man wakes for something beyond her, she feels his emotional independence, and that independence creates desire. Throughout history, women aligned with the man who shapes reality, not because she worships him, but because his stability frees her to relax. Jung would call him the individuated man, one who lives for meaning, not approval. To a woman, such a man feels inevitable. Other men bend to life, he bends life itself. Here is the paradox. When you make her your mission, you kill her attraction. When you make your mission your core, you ignite hers. She doesn't want to be the center of your world, she wants to be invited into a world already moving. Build and she draws closer. Orbit her and she hunts for gravity elsewhere. 6. Controlled vulnerability. Women do not want a man who hides his emotions, nor a man ruled by them. They are drawn to men whose emotions are acknowledged but governed. Vulnerability is power only when expressed with control, shared from clarity, not chaos. A man who can open up without collapsing creates tension because his openness feels earned, not needy. Oversharing turns emotion into dependence, and dependence suffocates desire. A man's emotions should be visible like the sea, powerful but never spilling out of control. 7. Women test strength by instinct, not hatred. She will question you, resist you, ignore you, or provoke you, not to destroy you, but to locate your center. If you collapse, she loses trust. If you remain calm, she relaxes deeper into you. Her tests are ancient radar. Is he grounded or do I have to lead myself? A woman only tests men she sees potential in. Passing is not about dominance, it is about composure. 8. Rejection is a mirror of self-worth. Men fear rejection because they tie their identity to approval. But rejection is evidence of abundance. You acted from choice, not hunger. A man who walks away calmly radiates strength. Nothing I lose defines me. That dignity strikes harder than any flirtation. Desperate men chase, grounded men proceed. 9. Mystery is not manipulation, it is self-possession. When a woman always knows what you feel, she stops wondering, and desire dies where curiosity ends. Mystery means moving on your own rhythm, not being instantly available, not explaining yourself to be understood. You reveal slowly, intentionally. What you withhold, not what you show, fuels her imagination. Desire is born from what the mind cannot fully solve. Do not chase women. Chase mastery. Women do not obsess over men who need them, they obsess over men who outgrow them. Not because he withholds love, but because his life is larger than love. That is the masculine archetype her biology is wired to follow. Not the man who wants her, but the man who creates a world worth entering. A man with a mission does not request devotion. He evokes it.